Hello, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are. My name is Geoffrey Semaganda, and welcome to the Action Wealth Show. You know, this show we talk about the three fundamentals on how to create wealth. The first one is usually to work on yourself, because we believe anyone can become anything they want to become. The only person who's going to stop them is really themselves. So what we do, bring on experts, guests that will really help us to move us from where we are to where we want to go. But, you know, working on yourself is not enough, because the bills must be paid. So we move on to the next level, which is business. And we talk about how to create multiple streams of income, because I believe we should never put all our eggs in one basket. And then obviously once we do that, and we go to another level, because which is about financial strategies, because there's so many people who are rich yesterday and they're poor today, because we learn how to make money, but we never really concentrate on learning how to keep the money that we make. So we know it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you keep. So the three fundamentals is personal development programs, business training programs, and most importantly, financial training programs. That's what the Action Wealth is about. For the last 15 years, we've been going around the world teaching people strategies in this end. And we started using these online radio programs to record, to meet people, and then we record them, see if they can share some ideas with us. Now today I've got a very special individual online today. I really am getting to know her, and I'm sure you, the listeners, you're going to know her. You're going to get to know more about her, and at the same time I'm doing the same thing. She was actually, if I remember correctly, the name, there was a gentleman, a good friend of mine, Les Brown, mentioned her name somewhere. I can't remember exactly where. And I went to Google her and realized she's on Facebook, and we connected her from Facebook. And that's, I think, how I've been trying to my best to get hold of her, but she's a very busy woman. And so today she's not even feeling well, but I'm dragging her on this call. So let's make sure she's on the call. So let me find out, first of all. Elayna, are you there, my darling? Are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you, Geoffrey.
So tell us exactly, where are you? Where are you calling from?
I am in Dallas, Texas right now, but I am originally from the Dominican Republic.
Oh, fantastic. That's where the beauty comes from, right?
Thank you.
I posted your picture. I couldn't copy and paste. There's one picture when you're holding a mic. I love the picture. So I think what we'll do, we put a lot of your pictures that people can see how beautiful you are. So I think we need to make sure to understand that. Not only this lady, she's a businesswoman, she's an author, a speaker, a trainer, but most importantly, she's a mother. So, and I think we're going to get to know a little bit more about you. So instead of me talking, let me just ask you, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, I am a mom.
Yes.
Of two beautiful daughters. I think that's the main piece that really has taken me to a new level in my life. I've also been working in digital marketing for many years now, and that includes with designing websites as well as putting together strategies for marketing and branding campaigns. I think that I'm most passionate about branding and social media because it really combines my passions of connecting with people and also using my digital geekness to help business entrepreneurs. And, above all, I'm a very faithful person. I think that faith is the main gift that I've been given with, in that it has helped me in every area, every aspect of my life, whether I'm on the stage as a speaker, whether I'm writing a book as an author, whether I'm helping an entrepreneur move to the next level. Yes.
Now, when you say, we're going to come back on the business side for the second, but you mentioned you have two daughters. I've seen their pictures, and they're as beautiful as you are. So tell us about them. I mean, I don't want to jump the gun here, but it looks like your daughters written a book. The other daughter seemed to be doing a lot of either illustrating or painter or artist. I don't know. Tell us a little bit about them, because I've got two daughters myself, and anything that inspires young kids to to do something more than the usual, it's something I'm interested in. I'm also working on the book Financial Intelligence for the teenagers, and maybe you can contribute to that book, and if if we maybe get to know each other a little bit more. But I'm really more passionate about the young people, because that's really the future of our world. So tell us about your beautiful daughters. What are their names and what do they do?
Okay, thank you so much. Their names are Elisha and Alyssa.
Yeah.
And they are, well, now they just turned 9 and 8. Elisha had a birthday last Tuesday, and Alyssa had a birthday yesterday.
Oh,
and
happy birthday.
they are, thank you. And they are amazing little girls. They are very talented, but most of all, they're very well behaved, and they are, again, very, really a joy to me. Alyssa published her book when she turned 7. That's what she wanted for her 7th birthday, was to be an author, a published author. She has been writing, she has been writing stories before she started writing, which is Elisha would transcribe what she, or illustrate or write down the stories that she would make up. So she has been always a storyteller, and she's a performer, a singer, and they both are illustrating my next book, actually. They already completed all the illustrations. So my next book that I have out, called The Mom Principles, Elisha has 26 illustrations in the book, and Alyssa has 26 illustrations in the book.
Now, tell me something. How do they get into this? Because you must, everything, kids pick this thing from their parents. So I can only basically say you must be the driving force of making these kids, because they have to see from somewhere. Are you a writer yourself?
Yes, I'm an author, and so she wanted to be like Mom. But I should tell you, when we first connected through Les Brown, which is, I've worked with him for several years, I actually was impressed by the fact that you were a very young entrepreneur, and so was I. So I felt really connected to that piece because, having that desire is really something that is unique, and both my daughters have it. So I think that that's a really, really beautiful thing when you are very young, but your parents, your surroundings, there's a mentor, there's always something that motivates you to move to higher levels of consciousness and of life. So
totally
going to the deeper levels of life, yes.
Totally true. I also basically I believe that the biggest and the best role models for our children are the parents, and I think parents, we need to look at ourselves and see the kids are turning up exactly the way we are. There are some kids who are always going to do better with their parents no matter what, but really the big influence starts from home. So the fact that your daughters are doing that purely because you're doing it, and the learning and the influence coming from you and the people around you, so I think you can only be commended for that, and hopefully that we can inspire the kids like your daughters to do similar thing, because people, when you tell them, my daughter published a book at the age of what did you say the age is? They are 6 or 7? 7, and it's one of those things that maybe other parents maybe need to put learn from this, that it doesn't matter what age, kids have a lot to say, have a lot to offer, and I also saw her pictures, I think, on Facebook when she's reading. She seemed to be reading in front of our other kids. What was that all about?
Well, she actually went, which is really funny, she actually wanted to read this book to other kids. So she did that. She arranged for story time to do it at her former school. I homeschool my daughters right now, but they were in a school before, and she also wanted to do a book signing. She donated a book to the library, so she had a plan. She had been observing Mommy really well, and she had a plan to get her book known and out there. And she loves reading. They both love reading. We are a family that enjoys reading and writing and learning. I think that that's something that we should all instill in our children. Is the love of learning.
Now, the reading part is something that I try to encourage my daughters to do, and as my daughter, the big one, she's actually reads more and more than ever before. You leave a book and you wake up tomorrow and she's finished it. So that's something basically. And I was not the best reader. You know, she's a better reader than I am. Now, coming down to this homeschool thing, I'm calling from London. Understand that. In the UK, we don't really do, in Europe, another part of the world, we don't really do much homeschooling. You know, I know this is moving away from the topic, but why homeschool, and what are the benefits? Someone is going to maybe understand, learn the reasons for that. Give us some. What's your take on that? And why did you choose homeschool?
Yes, well, being an Action Wealth coach yourself, you know that you are the average of the people that you surround yourself with.
Okay, I don't know whether it's your line or my line. It seems to be cracking a little bit. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, I can hear you perfectly. Okay, can you hear me?
Can you repeat that, what you just said? Because we missed all that.
Okay, perfect. Well, I was saying that you are definitely familiar with the saying that goes that you are the average of, or you become the average of the people that you surround yourself with.
Absolutely, yeah. Yes.
So, I want to be very selective with what the surroundings of my daughters. That would be number one. I want them to absorb the best of their environment. So I try to be very selective and to shelter them. But in the essence of my decision to homeschool, though, was to be around them more time.
Right.
I think that the lack, and this is something that I'm an advocate of, is that the lack in our families and in our society right now is the fact that parents do not spend enough quality time with their children. And so I want to be close to my children, monitor what they're thinking, what they're doing, have meaningful conversations with them. And also, as a teacher and facilitator myself, I think that it's a very intimate setting for learning. And, it's just a beautiful thing. We have the best time when we homeschool, and they are happy, they are energized, It's a very beautiful, intimate setting in which we are getting to know each other and our relationship. And really, it was great before, but now it has been taken to new heights.
So, but tell people, I mean, the listeners right now, they really don't even understand how you go about homeschooling. So does that mean you basically educating them in everything, or you get tutors to the house, or how does that work? I mean, this is, we don't have this concept. We do have it, but it's very few numbers of people here in Europe, or maybe in other part of the world, in the Middle East or Africa, that would do homeschool. They're there, but just give us a little bit of input. How does that work? Just give me the day. Just give me a scenario of a day.
Okay, perfect. Well, we wake up. They wake up later than all the other kids that go to school. They have a big breakfast, and after they do that, then we sit down. They have their work area. Each of them has a computer, and there is a software a curriculum that tells me what they need to be learning next. Some people prefer written, kind of a book manual. So if you're not computer savvy, then you can also do books. Textbooks. I do a software because I'm more comfortable with that, and at the same time, I want my children to learn technology. So we go, and I am on the same spot as they are. So we have a work area, and I go from one to the other, teaching and facilitating the lessons and explaining and actually giving quizzes and tests and testing the learning. So basically, we do this, and there is no homework. So after you've done homeschooling, there is no homework, and then we move on to other activities. We do, though, and this is a very important piece, we do belong to a homeschooling group. So it's a support group that we meet, and we have play dates, we have activities. The girls do guitar, ballet, the days that they feel like doing art, we do that. And, they also have a very active social life. So they get the best of both worlds. And, again, these are people that are also homeschooling because they want the best for their children. And they want to also spend more time with them. So basically, the quality of the play is really dear and close to my heart.
Wow. I think you just brought something really important. That you're right. If you let your kids actually somebody say something. You mentioned Kenya. I was in Kenya speaking, and somebody said a lot of my people from my country. I'm from Uganda, and which is the neighbor of Kenya. And even though I live in the UK, but what we have lots of housekeepers, people, nannies looking after our kids. And somebody said that if you want your kids to end up like a nanny, do what? Let them be raised by a nanny. And I was kind of like, but most of my people don't really think about it that way. So I'm glad when you said if you want your kids to turn up a little bit like you, a little bit more than you, that at least you need to choose the right environment where they're supposed to be. And sometimes school does not mean it's the best environment for them. So that's amazing. Maybe something I need to, to get to know, do a little bit more research, and maybe something we can encourage people to do. I don't know, but I think that sounds an amazing idea to go forward. So now, if I take you back to the business side now, if that's okay. You say what I saw initially was, and before we go to the foundation, you have a Positive Mom Foundation. But before we go to that, let's talk about your business today. So, what would you say is your business at the moment? I know you're speaking. You're an author. You're a trainer. You're a marketer. So, what are your main business at this particular moment? That would you say this is what I say I do?
Yes. Well, actually, it's funny that you ask because I have been in so many different areas, but I am concentrating and focusing right now on writing books that uplift and delivering speeches and workshops that uplift mothers to actually become what they want their children to be. So we were speaking about the fact that, we want to spend time with our children. But who are we, Are we the best influence on our children, which is a really, thought-provoking idea. Just like you said with the nanny may actually have more values to share with our children if we're not careful. So that is my focus, is to actually put together products and ideas and thoughts and speeches and informational products that inspire, uplift, and move people to action, but also telling them how to do it and how to implement these techniques.
And when you talk about information products, you're talking about videos, audios, books, special reports, newsletters, okay, now, for me, as far as I saw the picture with you, Jack Canfield, and in there somewhere, and Mark Victor Hansen is actually one of my. I worked with him a couple of times in a few projects, including the Water Project for Africa, and he basically was the inspiration for me to actually encourage me to start writing books, and because he said that's really what you have to do. You have a story. I remember he told me that Les Brown, he has earned more than $70 million telling his story, doesn't actually, come close to my story if I was to tell my story. So he said to me, why don't you tell your story? I said, well, I don't think anybody was interested to listen to it. He said, well, just go and tell it. I'm telling you, if the man who was born in the U.S., can actually tell a story, making millions and millions of dollars telling that story, for somebody who lived in Africa, run away from home, grew during the war, worked since he was 7 years old. I think you have a better story to tell. And hence why I got into the idea of writing. And since then, I think it's been a life changer because it opened so many doors for you. I try to do less speeches because I wanted to be a businessman, not a speaker, and I'm realizing that, you know what, that's actually been costing me a lot for not doing a lot of speaking because it's really the opportunity for you to share everything you have and people get to know you more that way. So when I realized you were a speaker also, and then I found out you have the Positive Mom Foundation, which basically I was going to ask you more about. What is that? How does that work? And you mentioned, you already touched on it. You creating products to positive messages for mothers. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, of course. And I am very excited about this project. I have been working with mothers for about 3 years now, and we've had a network of moms in which we are helping each other succeed in raising positive children. So I call it the Positive Mom Foundation because, being positive and having a positive mindset, I believe it makes you powerful. It makes you, it gives you the mental tools, it gives you the thoughts, it gives you the right desires to move forward in your life. And like you started the show saying, going from where you are, from where you want to be. So keeping that attitude, keeping that mindset is actually the vehicle for you to get there. Things will happen around you and you will work hard to do things, but if you have the wrong mindset, you won't achieve it, or you won't feel happy when you achieve it. So there are many different components to that, but I believe, and I always say, be positive and you'll be powerful. So that is the basis for why I decided to form this group. I was also inspired by the death of my grandfather, and I wanted to continue his legacy. And so basically that evolved because I saw the need for more than motivation. I wanted to help, financially and with, counseling that I wasn't able to give, and with legal support that I didn't have. So basically, I decided to create a nonprofit foundation to help other moms have those tools and that training and really all of the resources that they need help with to raise those positive children. And the way to do it is by improving yourself. You cannot be a good role model to someone if you are not, into the most, I would say, appropriate mindset and lifestyle. So I always say you cannot share what you don't have.
That is
yes, thank you. In order to raise a healthy child, you need to think about your health. In order to raise a wealthy child, you need to think about your wealth. In order to, think about education for your children, you need to be a role model of education as well. Faith, integrity. So you think about all of these values that you want your children to be or to have, then you do it first, and they learn from you.
You're totally true. Now, bear in mind that mothers, they have a very tough job. They juggle, work and children, school and house, how do you get a mother to stay positive and motivated to keep that positive attitude? And what's your methods? What kind of method do you use to help them stay in a positive environment or keep the positive attitude?
Well, it is true that we juggle so many things and wear so many hats, and that, that is the reasoning of the foundation, is because we cannot do it on our own. We need a network of people, to keep us motivated, and that goes back to the people that you surround yourself with. And that's why we, as a network, as a group, help each other stay positive through, sharing our stories. You talked about the power of a story. And, yes, through sharing our own personal stories, sharing our struggles, and finding someone that sees the positive side, having those cheerleaders in our lives. That is how we stay motivated, is by the power of the mastermind that Napoleon Hill talks about.
I'm agreeing with you.
Yes, yes,
mm-hmm.
Yes. Thank you. And, also I developed these tools because it doesn't take, an MBA, and that's a figure of speech. But when I became a single mother, of my two little girls. They were 1 and 2 years old. I was in the United States without a job.
Right.
I didn't have money. I didn't have a car. I didn't know how to drive. My family was in the Dominican Republic, the family that could support me or even give me a hug, to help me out. So it was a very tough time for me, and it's been 7 years, not even, and I see the great journey that I've been through, and so I want to pay that forward. I want to, tell these moms, okay, you can build something out of nothing. When you feel that everything is going wrong and that you're stuck and you have nowhere to go, I have been there. I have felt that. I have been that mom that doesn't know how I'm going to get money to feed my children the next day, or how I'm going to pay the rent, or what is it that I'm going to do to move forward in my life. So I've been there, and I want to share my knowledge and my experience to all of these moms, which I do through my blog, through my products, and through my workshops, and just through interacting with people throughout the day, because I just want to share that message of hope and that message of you can do it, because if I could, you can too.
But how did you get started? How did you get started? How did you manage to be a single mother? You have no support, no any support mechanism. In a completely, obviously different country. How did you really get started? What got you moving?
Yes, well, I believe that it was that faith, that positive mindset that I can do it. That's the first step, because if you don't get into that mindset, then you're not going to be able to see the opportunities that are around you. And I believe that there were many miracles that happened to me, but you have to allow it, first expect and then allow miracles to happen. So that is a very, important piece that I always want to stress on, is in order for something marvelous, magnificent, supernatural to happen to you, you have to expect it to happen because you believe that it will, and then you have to allow it to happen because you embrace it into your life. So I will say that the main thing is to keep it one day at a time.
Right.
Move, Martin Luther King Jr., he said that you take the first step in faith and then everything else works out from there. So you take one step at a time and you say, what is the next step for me to move forward, even if it's a baby step. For me, It was to find a job. And when I found a job, then I started working a lot and really giving my best. And then after working for 40 hours, and finding a place to live and getting the right child care for my children, doing this all on my own and keeping positive, making sure that I played with my children, making sure that I was a happy mom, even, throughout adversity. So just little things, I would say positive affirmations, but it's really kind of a contract that you make with yourself. You say,
Right.
this is what I'm going to do that is best for me and best for my family. And those little adjustments will change and they will evolve. Then soon it became, I need to stay home with my children. I miss them too much. I must find a way to stay home with my children and support them at the same time. So that's how I started becoming an entrepreneur, which I have been since the age of 7 in the Dominican Republic. But, through circumstances, I moved away from that. But I decided I want to stay home, and I want to be with my children, and I want to pay for rent, and I want to give them nice things, and I want to, be the best mom. So I decided to, do what I do best, which is marketing, and web design was the vehicle to help me do that. And I would, for a while, work my regular job and also work on my business. So, and while having a 1 and a 2-year-old, of course. So all of this juggling was possible, and I look back and I'm like, how did I do that? But it's when you are determined to achieve a goal, trust me, you're not going to stop until you get it done.
That is true.
Yes. There's a quote, I think it was Marianne Williamson that said, if the train doesn't stop at your station, that's not your train.
That is true. Yes.
Yeah. So, people tell me sometimes, so how do I know that that's my dream? I'm like, trust me, you will know.
You'll know.
Because if it is a dream, nobody's getting you off of that dream.
Yeah.
There's no excuse. Nothing's going to stop you. You're going to become unstoppable because your faith that you can achieve it and your desire to achieve it and your determination to move forward will not be negotiable. So I knew that I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom and also find a way to provide for my children. So I did everything that I had to do. But again, it was achievable. I didn't decide, okay, I'm going to quit my job tomorrow because I want to be an entrepreneur. No, there were many sleepless nights, there were many struggles. There were many, there was a lot of waiting as well.
Yeah.
I had to be very patient. So it was very planned. I had an action plan, and every day I did something that moved me in the direction of that dream. And then it became true.
And it became true.
Yes, and then it's gotten better. We evolve as human beings. We have that desire and that thirst of becoming better, and to also, when we achieve what we want, to also pay it forward, which is where I'm at right now. I think that I have been very blessed in my career, but now I want to bless other moms that perhaps feel the same way I did, even though they have different circumstances, but they have a dream and they don't know how to move to the next step.
Sure.
And I think it's just step by step, that's how you get things done.
No, thank you so much for that. Now, what we need now maybe to give people an indication of exactly what your business is, what exactly you do. I know you mentioned that you studied into web design, but let's have a little bit of a journey there. When were you in marketing before, or you just started learning marketing? How did you decide marketing? I know you've been an entrepreneur since at the very young age, but what inspired you to go in that particular area, especially when you come to public speaking and really helping other people with positive words?
Yes, and that goes back to the step-by-step, because, you do what you can do at that moment, but your journey can take you in a whole different direction, and that's what happened to me. I started, being a marketer since the age of 7, and that is how I supported myself. That's how I learned English. So I always had the love for marketing and for advertising and for writing. So I have always had that knack. I went to marketing to college in the Dominican Republic, and marketing was my major. I just simply love that. And I've been trained pretty much all my life, training myself and developing myself in the marketing areas. When I got married and decided to become a mom and a wife, I actually stopped working and I decided to dedicate at least the first 5 years. Because, I learned at that time that the first 5 years are so crucial in a kid's life that I said, I will stay at home, be a stay-at-home mom, and be 100% mom. But then their father left us unexpectedly. And so that's how I got back into the groove of I need to support my family. But I did all of this in the Dominican Republic. I had a very successful track record in marketing and also in web marketing, even though I didn't know how to build web pages at that time.
I was just about to ask, are you a web designer or something? Yes.
Yes. Yes. So when I was pregnant with Alicia, actually, that is when I went to web design school in California. So I wanted to do something because I was planning for the future. I didn't know that the future was going to get so fast.
Right.
So, but I was planning for the future. Oh, maybe when I decide to get back into work and this is something that I can do part-time from home when the girls grow up. Well, I used it a lot sooner than that. But I decided that I wanted to build the sites and I wanted to be able to do, Photoshop and all of this stuff. So I decided to be into the graphic design and web design world because it blended my passion for marketing as well as my passion for the web and the computer world. So when he left us and we were pretty much homeless and I was so stuck, then I decided that was going to be my business, that whenever I got the resources and I was ready to jump into the next level, that it was through web design. So I decided, first you register your domain name, then you think about, your name, your business name, and so everything evolved to that. And through web design, that is how I got my reputation of being a good branding expert and marketing expert, to the point that in 2009 I won Best Marketer in the state of Florida.
Wow.
So I was, so basically I step by step, it creates a compound effect. And little by little you gain a reputation, you excel through your works and that shows. So that led me to teach.
Okay.
To teach web design. Okay.
Right.
And then I was like, now I'm doing my full marketing and branding gig. I'm really excited to be, doing what I went to school for and what I've been loving all my life. But now I want to teach it. So I decided to teach. And teaching led me to understand that I wanted to do, to do public speaking as well, but not in a great scale until I went to an event, a marketing event, and I met Les Brown there.
Right.
And when I met Les Brown...
When was this? When was this?
This was, I met Les Brown early 2009. It was in January of 2009.
Yeah, that's about right.
And,
okay.
Yeah. So when I met Les Brown at this conference that I went to, and I said, okay, I'm going to this conference because Les Brown is speaking. I barely knew who he was. I saw him in the Beyond the Secret movie on a Monday, I think it was, and then on the weekend we were leaving to Las Vegas because I said I want to meet this guy.
Yeah.
So when he was speaking at the stage, it felt like he was talking directly to me, and I was so excited. I'm like, I love what he's doing. So I ran backstage to say hello to him. And remember when I said about being so determined and being so crazy?
Yeah.
I actually ran through security, and I'm 4'9", and I don't even weigh 100 pounds. So, this 90-pound, 4'9", little girl in heels, okay?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I ran and I'm like, I have to meet this man. I'm going to go say hello to him and give him my card. So I give him my card, and, by the time security comes there, he's like, oh, she's okay. Don't you see how little she is? It's not going to hurt me. So he calls me .5 because he thinks I'm a half a little person.
Yes.
But anyway, I give him my card and I say, oh, I met Les Brown. I did what I wanted to do because I'm a kind of goal-oriented person, and that was my goal for that conference. I got a lot more of it, but I got what I came to do, which I was excited. So the next 2 weeks after that, I get a phone call, and they say that it's Les Brown, and I'm like, okay, stop joking. I know that I've been making everybody uncomfortable with talking so much about me meeting Les Brown, but,
somebody's playing a joke on you or something.
Yeah, exactly, and it was Les Brown, and he said, I cannot believe how wonderful it is to meet you. In your card, it says that you train people how to do social media, and you train people how to blog, and that you do web design. And I've been looking to refresh my brand for the past 10 years. I've been looking for that someone, and when I saw your card and I saw all the logos and I saw how fresh it was, I mean, my business card blew him away, which is crazy, Who designed this card for you? So I said, I designed it and everything like that. It turns out that the next week I was flying to LA to sign a contract with Les Brown Enterprises, and I redesigned his website, and I got him on social media, and I did so many things for Les Brown Corporation, the logo design, the brand tagline, and I have to excuse myself because I have a cold, so I don't sound like myself.
That's okay. But, that's all right.
Yeah, so basically all of the branding and marketing and social media for Les, and just being around him and having to go through each and every of his programs for research. How fun is that?
Now you are responsible for it because Les used to come. Les Brown came here to speak for my company in 2000. Again, maybe you might not realize I'm a little maybe older than you. He came to speak for me in 2004.
Wow.
He came here in London. At Earl's Court, one of the biggest conference centers here in London, and by then I was bringing speakers here from the US. You name them, I brought them here. Apart from the big ones like Tony Robbins, he had already had an organization he's working with. We couldn't bring him up. We could bring him here, but we from that day we became very good friends with Les, and then he mentioned. We were talking somewhere and mentioned you, and I went to Google and found you, and I'm thinking, wow, it's now it helps. But I didn't know you were the one responsible for his marketing, because all of a sudden, I'm seeing Les Brown on social media. I'm thinking, Les, are you sure? Les, he's everything, but not really the technology guy. But I can see he's everywhere. He's active in everything, and we're not in as much communication that we used to, because right now I spent the last 2 years I've been in Dubai, Dubai, back in London, so and then Africa. So it's been a little bit too busy, but every time I look at his sites, they look much fresher. Everything to be, so many video uploads and ease-ins and blogs, and I'm thinking, oh, now it's you. If we knew that, maybe we would have contacted you a long time ago. So, okay. So is that's basically how. But this is to do with the fact that you went to the event, you had an agenda, you had a plan, and you made sure you achieved your goal. And from there, here we are. I mean, hadn't you met Les Brown, maybe we wouldn't be talking either. But at the same time, you got yourself a contract through that. So really, the message in this is that I usually say I'll never go to an event without an agenda. If otherwise, not worth going. So either have something to market, or something I need to learn from, or someone I want to meet. So you were still saying, and then from there you work on Les Brand, then you moved on to what? How did speaking come about?
Yeah, so going through all of his programs, then in talking to Les, personally, he asked me, and he, probably asked you the same thing when he met you, because he always asks, what is your story, And that is how I learned to develop a story, and he inspired me to become a public speaker, because sometimes during that journey, it wasn't easy for me to admit to this story that I was, my marriage failed, and that I was so poor, and that I didn't have, it's really hard for you to own that as a gift and to start saying it to everybody. It's like, okay, why do people want to hear it?
Yeah.
So he opened my eyes to saying, when you talk about you being poor in the Dominican Republic and picking toys from the trash, people find hope in that, because if you can do it, they can do it. People find, yes, exactly, and you get this because you come from a similar background, and it's like when he talks about being born on an abandoned building in a really a bad neighborhood in Florida, people understand, well, I don't have that problem. My problem seems very little compared to that. And so it moved people to understand, to relate, okay, I can do this. I can move forward. And when he put it that way, I had to get out and start speaking. I couldn't wait. I think, like I said before, I'm really passionate and determined. So I think I started, calling centers and things like that, and local women's shelters and things like that, just to start speaking and telling my story and telling everybody, okay, this is what I've done with the circumstances that I've been given. This is how I've gotten here, and I am so blessed by being a speaker. And I think this is also a little bit of motivation for you, because speaking, it is so rewarding to be present, to feel the energy of a crowd, and to know that their lives will never be the same again from the message that you have been inspired to give.
That is.
So
that's really much true. It's just amazing. I feel like we just started to talk, and we're already basically in 40 minutes into the talk.
Oh my gosh.
But you see how quickly time basically goes. But I would really love in the future to just do some specific talks, especially on your business. However, I want you to touch on a couple of things. You talked about branding. I really believe self-marketing is very, very key. Today, people have to learn to market themselves, because everything you do is always been. I think people have been so busy in job environment, and they know they can hide themselves under the radar. As long as they have a job, everything will be fine. Today, people have to really step out and start realizing you gotta be seen, you gotta be found, you gotta be out there. So, what are the tips you can give people in terms of? Because I know we come back to this topic if you allow me to do this, but right now, just before we stop, we only have 10 minutes left. What are the key areas you can really talk about when it comes to personal and personal business branding?
Yes, well, I think that the main thing is to brand before you market. I think that that's the number one mistake most entrepreneurs and small business owners make, is that they start marketing themselves and their business before they brand themselves. And branding really is creating and crafting a cohesive message for yourself, for what you do, for who you are and what you bring to the table. So when you're branding yourself as an individual, or as someone that has a skill or a talent, then you really have to hone in the benefits of that talent that you bring. So it's not just oh, I'm very good with social media. It's really what can you deliver
Right.
to the person that wants to hire you or that wants to work with you or that wants to give you a freelance job or, or the business that you're creating. So I think that the main thing when you talk about branding is developing or crafting what I like to call an irresistible offer.
Right.
And what that is talking about 90% will talk about the transformation that will be the result of what you bring to the table. So, how many viewers are you going to get? What is the exposure? Really quantify what you bring to the table. And then 10% is what you do. If you tell someone that they're going to make $1 million in 3 months, they don't really, using their business and the talent, they don't really ask you, okay, what kind of software are you going to use,
Right.
So
yeah.
really, or is it a DVD or is it Blu-ray? No, they don't care that. They want to learn the techniques. They want to go through your process. They want to go through, your talents and utilize that to make the $1 million. But they really want to know the results. So I think that.
So let's take an example. Sorry to cut you. Let's an example. You find somebody like, you find me or Elias Brown or somebody on those lines. You want to help them craft their message and you start from branding and into marketing. How would you go about this? What would you do? Like for somebody like me, let's say I want you to take over my branding, my marketing. Where would we start?
Okay, we would start with coaching, with consulting. I need to learn who you are and what you do, and then through different questions and through a system that I've developed, then I find the gift and the results. And of course, this is all thinking about the market. So we need to hone in the market first. So I have a special questionnaire that I go through and then different things that we talk about. I mean, I told you whenever I worked with Les, I went through every single program that he had, listened through every audio, checked and researched, because really you want a unified message. You want everything to be in that message. And you only have 4 lines, to say that mission statement in an elevator speech is like, a tweet, like 140 characters. So you want to be able to craft it so well that you are talking to your market, number one. You're talking about the gift that is working with you, and that you're talking 90% about the transformation that your audience is going to get. So I have to pretty much find out everything I need from you, and that's how we would start talking and finding out, because you can tell me everything. I can't make anything up, but I can take what you said and transform it into that irresistible offer. And then, branding goes beyond that. It's going to be taking that offer and communicating it throughout your visuals, throughout your written message, throughout your speeches. So it's really taking that and making it consistent before you get it out there in a big scale. So before you send it out to millions online, you have to really know that this is who you are and this is what you're committed to do. And this is really a result that you're going to have the integrity to deliver.
And that applies to an individual, applies to a company, applies to both, right?
Definitely, because, if you want to be known as the person that brings X factor to a company, you have to know that you're going to be delivering that. And branding is positioning, It's really coming to mind and saying, okay, who do you need when you, in the company, when you think about someone that is always on time, who comes to mind? And they'll say, well, that's John. Okay, so John has positioned himself to be the most punctual person in that company. So, branding is all about results, and it's all about the gift that you bring to that company. You bring the gift of punctuality, and that's one thing. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, as we're trying to make sure we let our listeners get to understand technically everything you do. So that's basically you cover branding, and then we look at the other side of marketing. You also do speaking, you do coaching, you do writing. Tell us a little bit of and I know these things I'll ask you to expand on in the future. Just tell my listeners why it's so important to create information products, and why is that so important today in marketing.
Well, if you don't want to go crazy, because we only have 24 hours in the day, and you're passionate about getting the message out there, then finding a way to leverage your time and to leverage that information, I think that is the key. The word is leverage. So, being as determined as I am to change the world so that moms and parents in general, but moms, because I am one, okay, for moms to empower their children, I can't, go and travel the world in 3 days, but I can certainly make sure that my products do. I can't talk to every mom one-on-one, but I can talk to, 3,000, 7,000, 10,000 of them at the same time, and that is leverage. When I have an informational product, your product can touch many lives. Your product can, give a lot of solutions at the same time. So it's about leveraging. It's about, writing a book and getting it in the hands of millions of people. It's about, making your voice be heard by an audio product, or getting people to know who you are and how you gesture and how you shake your head.
Right.
And still deliver that message through a video program. So, it'll help you touch more people with your message. It will help you deliver that solution and that result and that transformation that I talked about at a greater scale. So you're leveraging your time because, while Geoffrey is listening to my message, I'm actually doing homework with my kids, homeschooling with my kids. But both things are getting done. And leveraging, of course, the message at a greater scale, because not only, John and Jane can hear it, it can be available through the power of translation, virtually to anyone worldwide.
Right. Now, talking about leveraging, the fact that you must have created a lot of information and products out there, how do the listeners we have here found you and most of your products? Because I know it's an hour gone, and we feel that we just started. That's how interesting in listening to you. So, where and how do people find you? Or online or offline? Just what's the best method for you?
Okay, perfect. Well, I think that Facebook is a really powerful means. You can find me on Facebook by going to facebook.com/positivemom. That's positive, M-O-M.
Okay.
Yes. And my website is elaynafernandez.com.
Okay.
ELAYNAFERNANDEZ. But I want to challenge everyone to go there and download a free ebook that I have about marketing and branding your business, so that you can benefit from that. And also my blog is momtivation.com. Is the word motivation with an M for moms.
With an M, okay.
And the Positive Mom Foundation site is a one page right now. You can go there and find out what the Positive Mom Foundation is all about. That's positivemom.org. So they cross-promote each other. You can find one by going to each. But I would really love if anybody that's listening would go to the blog, momtivation.com, and to the Facebook, facebook.com/positivemom, because there are many messages that they will love to hear.
Absolutely, no problem. We'll make sure that website is there. Is linked to the page and to also the archive audios, so people can basically always be able to find you. You also, we only have 30 seconds left. You said something you're planning to go and speak. You don't know yet, but there's a possibility you might be flying to Africa in Kenya. Is that when do you think that's going to happen? Because a lot of people are going to be interested to know exactly how that's going to happen.
Well, I will keep you updated, but I'm thinking about November, and my
Okay.
children and I will go to Kenya and teach a workshop.
Oh, that would be absolutely awesome. I'm sure they will love it. Make sure you go on the safari though, because make sure you don't go to Kenya without going to the safari. Listen,
Okay.
we've really run out of time. It's really wonderful talking to you, and I'm sorry you're not feeling well. That I've dragged you to still say something, but I don't think we notice a difference. I think you're just a pro. So thank you so much. We'll stay in touch. Hopefully, I'll be able to convince you to do a specific interview, especially on marketing and branding in the near future. Okay, you take care and say hi to your beautiful girls. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Have a beautiful day.